And I have Annie today, and it's launch day, book pub day for Annie's song, and I have the beautiful author, anniemcdonnell. Today
I
is
love that.
all about the master of doing nothing, the master of the beauty of doing nothing, because we are celebrating today. And as you all know, the work has been done, the product is out there, and we get to celebrate. This is the month of March, the profound wisdom, which, oh my God, is there so much wisdom in Annie's song. And like I said, our special guest is anniemcdonnell. This is episode 109 of Manifesting with Meg, Conversations with Extraordinary People. And off we go. Happy launch day, my friend. This show is about empowered through purpose. And I can't imagine a better empowerment than actually pubbing your first memoir slash amazing, wonderful poetry slash amazing, wonderful stories slash. There's so much good here. We've got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, they're calling it lots of
This
things.
is great because you are now the interviewee and I get to ask the questions, which is definitely a wonderful switch for you now that you are.
It's very
It's
hard.
going to be fun though. Now that you're a
It's
published
very
author,
hard.
now we get to inquire into your whole process, your whole pattern. This is a show about transformations, dreams come true, inspiration, true happiness, and discovering bliss. We are now just a conversation away from extraordinary. It's time to wake up to the universe packed with possibility. Annie, welcome to the show.
Meg, thank you for having me.
This is
like I said, you are definitely the chosen one for today.
Oh, I love it.
Nobody, I mean, because you're so exciting. It's like you're going to bring good luck to the book. So that's
well,
wonderful.
I always
so thank you so much.
I'll have my wand out eventually, right? We definitely have our tiaras on for sure. And before I go on, I want to introduce all of you to this beautiful, wonderful published author, anniemcdonnell. She is one of those rare people who always looks for the rainbow in the storm's wake. And I love that about you, Annie. She uses her brokenness to help others by giving her heart to innumerable causes and being candid about what she's going through in the hope that her honesty will give solace to kindred spirits, which I know that there are so many in the world who are kindred spirits with you. Thirsty for love, Annie breaks herself open at points only to learn the hard lesson that sometimes the love she seeks won't ever come. However, her heart will always warm when you see her take on life. You laugh, you cry, you're moved. A shimmering debut cross-genre blend of memoir, like I said, autofiction, magical realism, and poetry. We all know Annie and her determination to live a life of love, joy, and meaning despite great suffering. She shines throughout the dark themes of many of her essays and poems, stories to help other people. You live each day and night knowing her next breath could be her last, and you keep your heart focused on heaven. But while we have you here in the world of the living, you bring much love, much joy, and much wonder to this world. You are an author of Annie's song. So without further ado, Annie, welcome to you. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Meg, a lot of the things that were said about me really encompass you as well.
This is not about me, my friend.
Truly.
This is about you.
Well, I think it's because we've been through some things that are similar.
Yeah.
And we've decided that it's not going to hold us down.
That's right.
You know, like I went to the hospital with my book. Like I was all ready to be here no matter what.
Well, you know, I have to say, the pattern of perseverance with our angels at our side, with our tiaras on, and with all the beauty that is you, Annie, I am here to celebrate you. And today's theme, after I give you a resounding congratulations, I think everyone can give you bunches of love, claps, hearts, whatever you want to do in the feed. But this is really all about you and this wonderful, tremendous accomplishment of publishing your first book. So on your book pub day, I want to say that I couldn't be more elated or enlightened by this particular theme in the Magical Guide to Bliss. Profound wisdom, master the beauty of doing nothing. Today's quote, and I love that we have a quote that speaks about my cultural origins, the Italians, and the Eat, Pray, Love. Italians are the masters of el bil far niente, the sweet expression, the beauty of doing nothing. Because after you work so hard, you better damn well be ready to do nothing and just enjoy it all, right? They've
Yes.
been traditionally hard workers, but even against the backdrop of hard work, Il Bel Far Niente has always been an Italian cherished ideal, the finest accomplishment for which you are most highly congratulated. The more exquisitely, delightfully you do nothing, the higher your life's achievement. Anyone with a talent for happiness can do this, not only the rich. And honey, you are definitely one of the people who brings a lot of happiness into this world. So it shifts our focus from on to happiness from those hard work, those days of long, and Echo Garrett's here. So those days of long perseverance, publishing, editing, all the like, picking the cover. And here we are. What good it is to sit back and enjoy by taking time to rest. What are your thoughts to start us off on this?
Okay, well, I do need a day of rest. So I have been doing that. But my rest just seems to be doing a bunch of other things. But because I'm on to the next book. But what I want to say is, the whole what was it? The Italian working.
The
What
hardworking
was the
Italian.
saying?
Il Bel Far
In
Niente.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, I love that. I think that that's so perfect because I do have Italian blood in me, even though I only talk about the Irish. And they always took siestas during the day over there. My mother lived in Sicily, and that was a big thing, was the siesta. And I definitely take siestas all the time, no matter what. But when this book arrived at the house, I think it was the first time I slept overnight for like a year, because Echo can tell you. I'm going to tell you, when interviewing authors for all of these years, and you always say, "So what's the hardest part?" And they're like, "The editing, the editing." I was like, "What could be so hard about the editing?" Well, I got the editing and I was ready to rip my hair out. So I understand how hard it is. Like, you really think you're just going to write this book, write the words, and it's going to get printed and they'll sell it. But there's so much more to it. And I can honestly say that now I'm saying, "Oh my gosh, they're telling 100." I knew I wasn't being lied to, but like, it's so much exactly how they say, but even a little harder,
Mm,
because you have to love to do it, to do it.
yeah.
And that's
Well,
like the biggest takeaway for me was, I had to really love doing it.
Well, let's talk about this gorgeous cover that I have up there, Annie's song. It is just incredibly special, and tell us why, because I know that you know why, but I want it in your words. I mean, it's a beautiful.
Okay. Thank you very much. So this took a while to get, but that's Simon, my dog that passed away. That now we have 300 pounds of dogs in the house because of that little guy. That little guy. But that's him waiting for me in heaven in the ocean, because he went to the beach at my in-laws, and he just loved running in the along the water. So I
Mm,
always picture that's where he is. So that's where I'm going to meet him. Um, and I take like shamanic journeys, and like I'm always being led by my dogs to turn, and there's Simon on the beach. So that's why that's there. But the dandelions included because it's Anne's song, Dandelions, Dreams, and Dogs,
mhm.
because those three things are so important, and they're like the essence of my life. Um,
Tell us
other
what about the
things would be.
dandelions. Tell us more about the dandelions, because
Okay,
I
so
love
the
your story.
dandelion, I, I've always wished on dandelions ever since I can remember. I would get the bouquets given to my mom, thinking, "Oh God, these are the prettiest flowers on the face of the planet," because I didn't know other plants at the time. But so I've always been addicted to the dandelion because of the essence of the wish. And watching it float in
Mhm,
the air when you do it was very magical to me. So it always felt
mhm,
like it really could have powers to make things happen. So for me, I have it where when I pass it on, it's a dream sequence. I end up A 3-year-old blows on a dandelion's wish. Makes a wish on a dandelion. I land on one of the seeds when I pass away. So
mhm,
her wish becomes my wish. But then I
mhm.
stop off at all of my friends to whisper, "I love you" in their ears, like before I go to heaven. So there's a lot, and there's a lot of stuff about the dandelion in the book because it just always was some type of weaving in my life.
That's beautiful. I
So
love how it's kind of like a Annie song is a beautiful wish that you blow on the dandelions to other people that they may embrace love for themselves, self-love, and certainly one of the things that we've always talked about is acceptance. I really do believe that there was that gift in Annie's song that you give others, because the acceptance of your voice, your beautiful voice, in your poetry and your prose and your memoir and everything. I think it's exciting because it all goes back to this wonderful journey about you and your story and how you got here, published author and host of Write Review and Annie's Antics and all these wonderful shows where you've met so many people. And now everybody gets to return the love back to you as you walk into this world in a new direction as an author. So tell me a little bit more about yourself in conjunction with Annie's song, the book. And first of all, the title.
okay, so Annie's song. I have always loved that song, Annie's song. And the more I listen to the
Mm,
words, the more I realize it really is very close to how I've lived my life. And it's along the lines with Kamwame from Moulin Rouge as well, because it talks about life, but the end of life.
mm,
And I think in order for me to embrace life, I had to accept what I was being told,
mm.
even if it happens in 5 years that I pass away. I had to learn all of these. I had to learn it was okay to die, right?
Wow.
So I learned to deal with that. So Annie's song to me is something that I wanted to live on, like the words in John Denver's song.
Mm,
But Annie's song itself is like I call my heartbeat,
mm.
or my very song, or my soundtrack, because there's music in it. So it's the soundtrack of my life. Like if you listen to Spotify, that's the soundtrack to my life. Um,
But that's a special thing
so
about Annie's song too, because you also include a lot of music in it. Tell us a little bit about that.
so when I read books, I always have read them as a, what is it called? When I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the
Like a
word.
soundtrack.
When an actor he's when an actor becomes the part
Okay.
very clearly for like the whole time they're making the movie.
Mhm.
It's I forget what it's called, but I'm a method. I'm a method
Oh.
reader. So
Mm.
I launch onto a character, whether it be a small one, a big one, and that character takes me through the story. And if I don't latch onto a character, I don't know how that I'm going to be able to read the whole book. And that's the truth. But I typically do latch onto a character, and it's just I forget. You have to understand. I'm sick. So, and that's part of like it's scary to do interviews because I am unwell and I'm having trouble with memory, cognitive issues. So, can you repeat the question? I'm
Absolutely.
sorry.
No, the origins, first of all, was the origins of the song, which you answered beautifully, and then the fact that you're a
Oh, the reason why I put the songs in there, songs are always, I am always told by physical therapists, listen to
Mhm,
music, sing. The speech therapist says
mhm.
sing, but low, but sing, because it opens up your vocal cords in a different way. Because my vocal cords I have edema on everything.
Wow.
And so Annie's song is very, very important because of that, because it's healing methodality, but method, but also because every song, if you, let's say you didn't like the story, but then like you used the QR code and you're like, what song did she put to this? Then you're like, oh my God, I totally loved We Love to Rock. I don't know, whatever song. That's not in there, but that's all I'm thinking of. But like you're like, okay, that's what she's telling me. That was her time frame.
Yeah.
That was what she loved at the time. There's some video of my ex-boyfriend getting hurt during Persian Gulf War.
Oh.
There's some interviews, going on. It's a lot of fun. Uh, Carol Vanderhand was at that interview with Jay, and that was pretty fun. And so all of the music tells a story. Love on Route 58
Love it.
has all of the songs that from like the 80s that we were listening to before the car accident. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, you have,
And
like you said, you have QR codes after your
yes,
stories, which it makes it really kind of interactive. It's kind of a new way of thinking. I've never seen a book with QR codes incorporated in the content. There they are. So after you read the chapter or whatever part you're in, you can click on that and then the music comes to you, which I think is fantastic. I think it's a genius idea, Annie, for definite reasons that the music is what you say is a part of the healing after the story. So it's kind of full circle.
thank you. Dealing with all of your five senses is very important
I agree.
because if I forget where I am or something like that, I have to wait and say, okay, there's these curtains, there's this, there's ways to get you back to where you are. And it's all done through your senses
Mm,
that like you've been given. So I in my first chapter in here is I invite you to experience this book,
yeah.
as Echo calls it, an
Yes.
experiential book. Um, I invite you to experience this book and not just, and I don't mean like it's not important to just read it, but listen to the music, light a candle of a scent that you love,
Love it.
because it's going to make you remember what I said. And the whole point I wrote, the whole reason I wrote the book, ultimately decided to publish. First, Echo wouldn't shut up about it. Just kidding, Echo. You know, it was like Tom even said, Annie, let her publish your book. You know, like, yeah. And so I was like, okay. So there was that. So I'm very grateful to her. But also, it was very important for me to, because I've been bullied on Facebook. A lot of things have happened. They didn't. I was called the hypochondriac for 5 years and put on medicine, only to need a total hysterectomy when I was 23, because I wasn't ever believed.
Yeah.
So my hope is that people read this book and learn compassion or empathy for a person they know or
Mm,
themselves.
yeah.
Because self love and all that is very difficult,
Mhm.
especially when you're unwell and all the traumas. I mean, it's just like,
Well, it's wonderful to have a champion in your corner when you're publishing, clearly, and Echo did that for you as well. And Diane Paul is saying that she endured the experimental sensory inclusions, love the music. I think that you're right, absolutely right. It's all a part of the whole full experience. I'm going to hide your beautiful book right now, but I'm going to also bring to light one of my favorite things about this show is that you get to share with us your inspirations. And I think that these quotes certainly are beautiful in it of themselves. So at this
thank
point, we'll start with one of my favorite ones. There is only happiness in life to love and be loved. Tell us what you mean by this and how that applies to your life. Because let me tell you, everyone, if you go to Annie's, if you get an email from her, there's wonderful quotes that she includes after the content in her signature. And this is certainly a part of that, the concept of to love and be loved as one of the highest ideals. So tell us, Annie, go for it.
so I had them put in the book. I mean, it's just I tried to throw my whole life in there, you know. But I have always believed in strong love, and
Mm,
I believe it came from my best friend being killed because
mm.
I never told her I love her. We exchanged stickers that said I love you more than chocolate itself.
Oh,
That, you know, I have up here with her picture. If there's any on eBay, I get another one, you know. So I'm like, okay, she loved me more than chocolate. So that's pretty good. So that's always been like an inner cry to say I love you to people. It's almost like I start a book off at 5 stars. I start a friend off at 5 stars too, like with the love. You
mm,
don't have to earn, you don't have to gain it and earn it. You get the love, but if you hurt me too much, then it's hard. But I think it's just as important to love others, you know, as it is to love yourself. Because Meg, you and I, became friends like through Suzanne,
I
but it was
know.
because we were like, love, we love love. We're all about love, you know?
Well, that's one of my
Like,
favorite things about you. You clearly know that when you're in your presence, you're gonna be filled with love. It's your thing. It's your jam. And I think when you talk about your
there
story,
you go.
certainly, how it, what you've gone through and how you've, like I said, how you've gotten here. What brought you to this place where you've embraced love?
You froze on me, so
Oh
I
my
couldn't
God.
hear you.
Okay, so I'm going back. Hang on a second. So yeah, so like at this place, at this point, can you hear me now? Can you hear
Yes,
me? Okay.
yes.
So at this place where you now get to experience love, what got you to this place where love is the thing, love is the answer for you?
Uh, my stepmom,
Oh.
my stepmom Carmela, um, she showered everyone she knew
Mm.
with love. I mean, if they stubbed their toe, they were getting a huge pot of chicken noodle soup. Like, she loved everybody, and
Mm.
she loved my friends.
Wow.
Like, she wanted to be part of my life. She'd have my friends over for New Year's Eve dinner and say, "Okay, you guys can go to the party now."
Love it.
She made costumes for us for Halloween, but she loved me even when I made big mistakes.
Mm.
Like, there was no judgment, it was unconditional, and it really it started with her, and I've had miscarriages, and my, what one Savannah was 5 months, when I lost her, in
Wow.
gestation, but Carmela never forgot her.
Oh.
She made her Christmas ornaments every year. Like, she never forgot her, and she's only 1, so it was like when I lost Carmela, it was like, "Oh my gosh, who's gonna remember Savannah with me?
Mm.
Nobody," you know? But, she did write a letter to a friend of mine from work because she knew he was, very good to me like a father, and she said, "Please love we all love Annie, she's so helpful, blah, blah, blah. Can you please when I'm gone, can you please love her?
Mm.
Because she's starving for love. She
Wow.
starves for it. She craves it. Because then that's the truth. So, like, and when I'm gone, she will be lonely."
Wow.
So she kind of knew that was my jam, as you put it.
Mm.
Like, I need to feel loved all the time. So if there's something bad that is coming towards me, I feel a little like, oh no, this person's never going to talk to me again, type of thing. So it definitely came from Carmela. I mean, she was dying and she wrote that.
Wow. I think it's so funny because you and I are born literally, what, 4 days apart. I'm the 1st of December and you're the 5th, and we always say we're like, I'm
Yeah,
the
yeah,
older
I'm
sister.
older than you.
Yeah, like, yeah. I was like,
Yeah, but
yeah,
yeah. Oh,
I'm the
you're the
older
older
one.
sister. I
I'm
can
the one the
remember.
more, yeah, I have the more, yeah, the age is with me. But
Well, you also have it more
oh,
together than me.
let's
So
all say real, let's all keep it relative, right? But the back to what you just said, I think that, kindred souls that we talk about, you talk about literally in your book, hearts that find each other at that place of that need, and people feel that need. I know that when you talk about Carmela, what raises up in me is that my mother was that for me, and I didn't know who was going to love me after she passed away. And I mean, I have a lot of love in my life, but like that, and it's so amazing the gifts of what that was turned into all of this, meeting you, meeting the other cohorts in my author group, a lot of the people who showed up in my life. And I find that such a beautiful kind of like God wink from Carmela to you, that all of these people show up for you. And it takes us to this next beautiful quote: we will know them by their love. And tell me, Annie, what does this mean to you?
oh my gosh, I love this. This is one of my favorite things. I would get that tattooed on me if, but I'm not gonna do that now, but I would have, when I was younger. It's from a religious it's from the Bible, there's a story, but, "You will know them by the love" is almost it was telling Jesus how he would know the people
Yeah.
by their love that comes to him. But or something like that. I might have that totally wrong. Echo can tell you if I'm wrong because she knows the Bible like the back back of her hand. But I think that the most important thing you can offer somebody is love. Again, love, 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 right? But it's actions. It's
Mm,
actions. It's not the words. And when someone truly loves you, their actions tell you that they
mm,
love you. Not what they say or not what they do or not what they write or not what they buy you. It's just their heart, giving you their heart. And when they trust you with their heart and their love, there's no greater gift than that for anyone.
agreed. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's kind of like when you're going through the world to know those safe people, and how they express and they emote to you and how they make you feel safe. It's by their love. It's the gift of generosity. It's the gift of all of that. And you said that so wonderfully. And I think that is something that we all can take from your book as well. And this, you're born. Okay, here we go. Here we go. You're
I
born
had
to
to
shimmer.
include
You
the
know I was
guy.
gonna love this one, Annie. I mean, you're born to shimmer, you're born to shine, you're born to radiate. Wow. Take it away.
Look, this is how I knew, like, when your thing was shine, I said, "Oh my gosh," because this has always been a huge song in my life. It's by Sean Mullins. I think he's really a fantastic singer. But, it was in, like, Love Actually. It was in one of those really cool, yeah, it was, like, in one of those really cool movies, like, with a lot of stuff going on. And, I said, "You know what? This is gonna be my theme song when I'm walking down the street."
Yeah.
Now it's when I when I push the walker down the street. But, like, it's just, I don't know. I like to believe everyone has a theme
Oh, I love that.
going on, a musical theme, like in a movie, right?
Mhm.
Because you do. You just don't know it because your heart beats faster before you talk to someone, or, you get nervous, you get
Mhm.
butterflies. All of that is music going on,
Yeah,
right?
so
And
true.
so that's why I put theme music to my life. But that was from a therapist as well. Advice from a therapist that it would be good to do that because I would feel more empowered when I wasn't able to fully do what I want to do. I would still feel like, you know what? I was still born to shimmer. I was still born to shine. I was still born to radiate. So that's why people are you really sick? I'm just like, yeah, but like, I'm very excited about things.
Yeah.
That's just how I get.
Well, I mean, and you wear tiaras really well as well, Annie. But I think it's interesting. It's like you just said. I don't, however I walk down the street, I'm gonna do
Yeah,
it shimmering and shining. If you roll me down the street, if you, I don't know, drag me
that's
down the
right.
street,
And like it's no joke. My sorority sister pushed me in the Avon walk marathon and a half for the breath because my stepmom's last request of mine was to do the Avon walk and they wouldn't clear me medically. So I was like, well, what if I get her to push me with the wheelchair? Yeah, good luck with that. And she did it.
Oh, wow,
I mean,
amazing.
that's a great friend. She's so good to me. But pushed me in the wheelchair. And we put pink on it, and
Yeah.
I'm the type of person like I have an IV pole in the house. His name is Channing, you know, like the stripper pole. Like I every
Did you
my
just call
walker
your
is
ivy pole a
Daisy.
strip? You just called your ivy pole a stripper pole.
Well, because
Okay,
if look,
there we go.
if you think of these things in your life as not being devastating,
Yeah,
it changes the essence of what's happening to you during that time.
I agree.
And for when I go to the hospital, I always say, "Oh, well, I'm going to Guadalajara again." And people that are there know that I call it Guadalajara, because I like saying Guadalajara.
Well, it's all
And that's
part
the
of your
closest I'm
song.
gonna get.
Well, here's Nancy Johnson, who is now going to be another. She's going to have an album out soon. But the thing is that it's your song. It's Annie's song. That is what makes you so dynamic and beautiful and shimmery and shiny and radiating because you march to the beat of your own song. I love it. Yeah, Guadalajara, stripper poles, all of the above.
Guadalajara. But Yeah, born to shimmer, born to shine. Well, it's so funny. I don't know. And it's like the housekeeper, whatever guy he is, he's like he cleans the place at the hospital ER. And he comes out and he's like, "What are you doing out here? We need to get you to the back." Like, it's just so funny. I really feel like it's like, I have to imagine it's some type of resort, you know? I don't know. It's just what you do.
It's just what you do. And, interestingly enough, I do believe the fact of the matter is that because you did, in fact, publish your book in the middle of going to Guadalajara or, or going to the resort, we'll call it,
6
or
times.
all of these things that are happening in life. Life happens, and you have to do what you came here to do during that. I think that's amazing. So here we go, our favorite. You did this for me, and I
Yes.
embrace it wholly. Magic
Thank you.
happens when you don't give up. There you go, Annie. This is beautiful, and this is why we're going to master the beauty of doing nothing today, is because magic happens when you don't give up, but you really need to step back and celebrate the magic. So tell me what your thoughts are on this.
You're right. Well, I saw that. I saw this as like a graphic on Canva. I said, "Oh my god, they need this for Meg." So I
Yeah.
need to, I need to save it and send it to her. But the truth is, I saved it for myself too because you make me believe that,
Mm.
right? And like you will know them by their love and magic happens. Like
Mhm.
when you're told you're in the last stages, I say, "You know what? I'm sorry. I have a eulogy to Stephen Hawking." I mean, that man lived forever when he was told he had a year to live. He had like
Yeah.
21 years. So he's my hero.
Mhm.
When he stopped being able to do this, he did this. When he stopped being able to do this, he did this. And ALS is often compared to
Okay.
stiff person and and MS and stuff like that. So it's just the way I want to live like him.
It's beautiful.
I had to stop working. So I said, "Oh my god, I'm gonna write more book reviews." Then it was, "Oh, wait, this Facebook thing, I can interview authors," and you have to keep evolving.
Yeah.
But now, like, I lose my train of thought. There's things I can't, so I can't really do interviews unless it's a big group of people, because then there's like so many people that are talking, and I'm like, "Yo, I'm still here."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you are still here, Annie. That is for sure. And like I said, we get to celebrate you. And Nancy's saying, I love the magic happens. And it is a reminder. We have to remind ourselves every day. And like you said, acceptance of the situation that you're in allows you to live the magic much more readily than if you basically get stuck in the, you know, the suck, stuck in the
yeah,
suck,
but I
right?
mean, the truth is, like, we know we get into the suck,
We
as
do.
you
Yeah.
know, we do get into that, but you're even someone that says, "Don't stay there long.
Yeah.
Give yourself a certain amount of time to be there," because you do have to grieve certain things and, like, the loss, "Oh gosh, now they're telling me I can't do this on my own. Oh my god." So grieve it, but don't let it become part of who you are.
Yeah. I love
So
that. And
books
you know what?
became who I am. You're
Books
right.
and ideas are like blood. They need to circulate and they keep us alive. Go for it.
I didn't realize this could make me cry. Oh my god.
Mm.
Okay. Janet's, book was one of my favorite books that year that came out. But this quote was in her book, and
Mm.
I've asked her, "Can I save it? Can I write it here? Can I write it here? Can I put it in my book? Can I," and she always says yes. She's very generous. But books became my lifeblood, right? If I didn't have that, I mean, so did my dogs, don't get me wrong, but this was the quote in there. So it's dandelions, dreams, dogs, and books, really.
Yeah.
So, we all know books circulate my life. And that's, oh, see, it says circulate. Uh, and it is the books that circulated, because the cool thing is, no matter what, I I can listen to a book, I can read a book. There's all these things I can do. And that's why I go nuts with the whole oh, if you listen to a book, you really didn't read it. No, that's not true. It might be the only way you could have read it, what the author's words were, and that's the most important part. But this part of the book was about getting books to soldiers and Jews that were being hidden. So
Mm,
books circulate life even for the most heaviest traumas that are
mhm.
happening to you. They want books,
Yeah.
right? It always comes down to that. And we don't realize it, but there's somebody reading, hopefully, our book one day. There's people reading our books every day, and it's changing their attitude about something.
And one of the things I absolutely love about you is that you have been in books for such a long time.
I know.
It's
Yes.
it's like a part of you. You are books, Annie. And I think that it's an honor to have you share your book with everyone. And I think that I'd love for you to share on how the process has been on that.
Um, I wish my 3rd grade teacher was I knew how to find him, and ironically, his name is Mr. Book.
No.
I swear to God. And it's funny, I just found his report cards for me.
My God, that's awesome.
So Andrew Book was his name. So I was like, "Okay, I was right," because I did think maybe I remembered that wrong because I love books, but
Mhm.
he got me reviewing books, and I literally in the magazine would write, "It's really good, read it."
Yeah.
Like, very, very short, but the point is those are okay to write. Those are wonderful to write on Amazon. So remember that, everybody. The book was good, read it.
I
That's a
love it.
great line.
That's a great one.
Like, from 3rd grade. But so I've always, and then I won a writing contest with March of Dimes and all of these things, but I always wanted to, like, I wanted to be a lawyer, go to UC Berkeley, be a lawyer, so I knew how to do all the kinds of law, but it's because I love to read, and
Mm.
it didn't dawn on me that I could be doing something different until I had to. Well, I won the L contest in 2006, but in 2015, when I had to stop working, I said, "What am I going to do?" I called Nieves. I said, "Oh my God!" She said, "Call Samantha March. She has a great blog. Apply to work with her. You have to apply, and she will teach you everything you need to know." And that's where I learned everything. Was
And
from Samantha.
is that the beginning of Annie's Antics, or was that the beginning of the Right Review?
The Right Review.
That was the Right
Because
Review.
I left her to go start my own blog, The Right Review, and I was terrified, because I was doing everything behind her.
Wow.
She's wonderful. She's won Influencer of the Year awards and everything.
Well, let me
So
ask,
Anne-Marie sent me to the right person.
so it's really the connections with who you know and how you get to where you go. And I think that that's something that's beautiful about you is the connections.
Okay, well, this is the thing. I treat everybody as if they're on the same level as me.
Yeah.
I don't, because I know people who are actresses or whatever, or people that played sports, and all they were us,
Mm.
right? So if you treat them with kindness
Uh-huh.
and grace and all the same you would do for anyone else, their response is going to be quite similar. I mean, I got Hoda to send books to the Navajo Nation. I mean, she probably would have anyway, but I think it was my letter. I just think you have to talk to everybody the same, and give people the same respect you would give your friend. Treat
Yeah.
them like a friend, and that was the same thing with authors. An author might have written their first book like you're treating me today,
Yeah.
to feels like I'm getting a sundae with a cherry on top. But I would be so excited and treat them how you're treating me. Like they just had a New York Times bestseller.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, I interviewed Ellen Hildebrand when she hit the New York Times bestseller
Amazing.
on the second day her book was out.
Yeah.
But I had the same feeling with both of these authors,
Yeah.
and I'm just describing different relationships to bestsellers. Treat them all the same, and they will come. I mean, that's what I believe. And also, don't take no for an answer. So,
Ah.
I'll tell you the secret with Andrew Morton. I kept bugging him.
Well, tell
And then
everyone
all
who Andrew Martin is, okay? Because he's, like, a
so
fantastic of go ahead.
he's like he got the rights to go into the Royal Library from by the Queen. He does all the royal stories. He did the Diana exclusive,
Amazing.
uh, and other stars. But I kept writing, but I act like I was his buddy. Oh my God, I just watched the Diana, Broadway show last night. Did you see that dance number with all your books? And he said, Annie, just call my publicist at this number and let's do an interview. I mean, I think he knew like this girl
She
is
gonna call
never going to stop writing to me. So it's also never give up. If
never
they're
give
a
up,
dream
man.
of yours.
That's awesome. I love it. And as Nancy says, is look what you've built. Look what you've built. Your life is a beautiful story from beginning to end, even with all the challenges. And I really want you to share with everyone, because I think it's really important, what happens when you do get emotional about what's happened to you. Like, and I know I've seen you be like a passionate, amazing advocate, but tell us a little bit
Oh
about
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Well, there are times when I get really emotional and I'm hurt. I have been told to lean into it because that you get out of it quicker than trying
Mm,
to ignore
so
it.
good. That's so good.
But my worst thing with being sick is when people want to ignore that it's happening to me.
Mm,
That drives me nuts. I understand why other people say it drives them nuts.
yeah.
Meaning you feel like you can't say, "Oh, my back hurts today."
Yeah.
Well, your back always hurts. Or, "Oh, you need to cancel a show and you need help." Really? Let me go complain because you asked me for a favor. Like things like that, because I think I'm trying so hard to stay in what I'm doing. So when I'm brought out of it, if I'm not supported,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm drowning.
Mm,
And when I'm being supported, it doesn't matter what I'm doing at the hospital, you know, uh, when people are helping, because everybody has to help everybody, right? I
yeah.
so that's the hardest part for me. I I believe is pretending. And Meg, there's a lot of people in my life that pretend I'm not. There's nothing wrong with me, which is hard. Not that I want to talk about it all the time,
Yeah.
but I think I have a value in giving people advice about something because I've been through the gambit of things, you
Yeah.
know. So it's very hard. Also, when I imagine I'm not going to be here with my nieces and nephews,
Mhm.
or my dogs, maybe
You have a
my
beautiful
husband.
relationship with your animals and your nieces and nephews. I mean, your animals. I mean, come on. We all know your babies.
Oh my
We
god!
all know
I
your
mean, it's
babies.
they tell me. Sullivan says, "Oh,
Totally.
mom, it's 1:30. We need to take a nap. I don't care what you're doing."
That's awesome.
I mean, and I know, like, that's what he's saying, but he also knows when I'm tired.
Yeah. Oh, look. He thinks he knows
Well,
who you're talking.
Bonnie will
Bonnie's
come
there.
over when I start to stand up, and she'll stand in front of me
Wow, amazing.
to I pretend she's helping me because that's what she wants to do.
Yeah. I love
So
it.
I touch her. I'd break her if I try to really lean on her, but I mean,
This
God bless her.
this seems kind of like a strange question because of all of the challenges you have with stiff person's disease and all of the, scares you have, but you keep never giving up, and you show up. Would you say this is a dream come true, your life? And I know that I say that with all the respect in the world, because you just published a book. You have accomplished so much. Are these the dreams you had?
Well, dreams have to change. Like when I knew I couldn't have children, it was like, oh,
Mm,
okay, now I'm going to adopt. Okay, nope, not going to adopt because now I'm too sick. But then it's, oh no, I'm going to be involved in some study.
mm,
Uh, when I'm in the hospital for 12 days, yes, send that student to me.
yeah.
Let me tell them all about my rare diseases. I love like giving back. Like it has to. All of this has had to have happened for a reason.
Yeah.
And I do love having the book out. That makes me very proud.
Yeah.
Um, it makes me very proud. I feel like now I have a baby walking around, but
Yeah.
I feel now I know what it means when authors say that. But I definitely I wanted to have my book on a shelf at a library. So when I'm gone, my name's going to be somewhere,
Oh man.
right? My name's going to matter to somebody one day later in life, in other words,
Yeah, no,
because I'm not going to show up on anyone's ancestry because I'm not a parent. But I did want to say that real quick, if it's okay. I want to have my body go to science
mm,
when I'm gone. So, real quick with the story, when I was going into hospice, I had to plan all of this. So I'm calling around. Everyone's like, "You're too heavy." Oh my god, I'm too heavy. Well, sick people are heavy. Like, what's wrong with you? And the weight they want is what I was when I was a runner. So I was like, no one. I was like telling Harvard, no wonder I'm still sick. I was getting aggravated. So then I call NYU downstate and I said to him, "Please, you have to take my body." And he's like, "What? What's the matter?" And I told him, I said, "I've been on the phone all day. Nobody wants my body. I have no children. I've been sick my whole life since I was 18. So that's really since 18, not my whole life. But I'm like, and nobody wants my body." He's like, "Okay, wait. What rare diseases do you have?" I
oh my
tell
god.
him. And then he says, "How much do you weigh?" And I tell him. And he says, "You know what I'm going to do for you today? I'm going to take your body." It's like, oh my God, this guy, total used salesman line. He was taking my body.
Oh my
So
god.
he's like, "You need to fill out the paperwork this weekend."
Wow.
Okay. Because it was like, I was being I was like gonna be like VIP there, getting accepted. I was too fat, but he was taking me. And then I had to decide where you decide, are you gonna be buried? Is your urn gonna go somewhere? Or are you gonna be your ashes thrown at sea? And I remember there's this book, The Husband Material. I think Emily Bond wrote, it, I think. Um, and in it, her husband dies and goes off to science for like 5 years. So she tries to act like she's not never been married, starting a new life, has a boyfriend, act like she was never married, and the urn shows up from the UPS driver, and they're all like, "Who is this?" And she's like, "My husband." I was like, I can't do that to Tom.
Yeah.
So I decided to be buried in New Jersey. So then I called the author and I'm like, "I just want you to know something. I decided what I was doing with my body after I die because of your book." And she's like, "You've got to be
Oh
kidding
my
me."
god,
She's
that's
like,
great.
"That was like, I never even thought in a million years."
That's
So
great.
you never know what your book is going to make someone do.
Oh my god, I absolutely love that. The fact that you just had we had a conversation, and at one time of your life that would probably be like, "I can't believe this is happening to me," but you're trying to like, "I wanna give my body to science," and then and
Yeah.
finally, you're going to NYU. Woo!
Yeah, and I mean, they give you a 1-800 number. So Tom only had to call. I had a folder. He only had to call this 1-800 number, and they come pick you up. And he's like, "We'll be very kind to you." I said, "Thanks." Like,
I have to say there's a lot of levity in this, like, seriously, on these really heavy, heavy, heavy issues, there's a lot of levity in this, and of course, one of the
it's
things
still funny.
well, one of the things that I love most about you, Annie McDonnell, is your laugh, and tell us, like, the laugh has to be stored in in an archive, in the National Archives, so that we can all have a dose of Annie's antics. Anytime we want, we can push a button, and there's this great laugh, because I can tell you're laughing even when you're not laughing, when you're like it's and I think that is, like, it's so Annie, it could be Annie's laugh, could be the name of your book, because that is a part of your song, is your laugh.
That's true. Good point.
It's
Thank
I
you.
have always said
Thank
that.
you.
I've said it all the time. I was like,
You
"There's
too.
nothing better than listening to Annie laugh." And we're talking about some serious medical situations here, but at the end
Oh yeah. It's like, oh, and I thought I was dying in a month. Because I mean, they were like, I had a mulch, you would die. Yeah, it was crazy at that moment in time.
unbelievable.
But I have to tell you, Vicky, I get when I go get my infusion, um, they will sometimes put you in a smaller room and not with the group, but, like, they put me with the group because I'm always telling jokes and stuff.
You're the
I don't know what
entertainment.
I don't know what my deal is. I'll be like, "I can only walk, but" like, I don't know, but, they all made me so happy. But Vicky, I didn't know she had stiff person syndrome. She always had a blanket over her head, and I was always like, "How does this girl sleep like this? What's wrong with her?" And then one day she flips off the blanket and she says, "That's it. I can't take it anymore. Your laugh is too hysterical."
Oh my God,
Like, so from that moment on, that blanket doesn't go over her head unless she's sleeping.
that's
She used to just have it on to be away from everyone. So I love to laugh, but you have to be someone that wants to reciprocate,
yeah.
you know. I'm not kidding when I tell you, so Catholic Home Care is watching me. And this lady, one of the nurses, I keep telling jokes and she's not laughing. So, like, on the fourth one, I said, "Yo, I'm telling jokes. I'm trying to make you laugh." Like, because I don't have people coming in and out very often, so
You're like,
I literally said to her,
"Get
well,
with it,
she told
honey."
people that I said that. She was like, "That girl is funny."
You're like working your material on all the home health care aides. That's awesome. One of my favorite part of the show also is, because the intentionality or the synchronicity of the magical guide to bliss and the intentions we have for the show. And, clearly my intentions today were to highlight you and your new book and the new path that you're going to, the adventure you're just about ready to take out in the world of authorship and the different on the other side of the interview. Tell me, what was your intention for today, and what number did you pick in the magical guide?
Okay, so my intention for today was to honor true friendship and
Mm,
always make sure you water it.
I love it.
Because people forget to do that.
Mm,
Even if it's just for a second, it changes, somebody's, uh, again, essence very quickly with just a quick hello,
yeah,
you know? So that's my intention
I
for
love
this
it.
show. And also, you're such a good friend, you always do that for me. So it's like a given, type of thing. But also for the number, I picked 69 because
Oh,
that's the year I was born.
yes. And what would be our magical guide to bliss's page for 69 today? We have to match your intention. We have set the example, Annie, which March 1st, actually. And that's a beautiful alignment to
March
this
1st.
now. Set the
Oh, yes.
example. It's difficult to bring people to goodness with lessons, but it's easy to do so by example. Wow, I couldn't have think of a better.
I didn't look any of this up, I promise.
It's Seneca, Roman Stoic philosopher. And I love it. And one of the things it says here, which I think is really aligned to you, is actions have always spoken louder than words. You can choose to be the person who talks about change or a person who lives it. And Annie, you are definitely a person who lives it. You live your life with all the words of love, any different kind of unfoldings for certain. So you, as the magical key says, set the example, choose one good thing to do for another today. So on this day of your beautiful book launch, I want to, and this is not final because we're not done yet, but I want you to give everybody an inspiration that they can take away with them today that they can use in their life. So what's your final inspiration, Annie?
Uh, Send cards and notes in the mail to people.
I love it.
It sounds crazy, but everyone that's on here has sent them to me.
Wow.
Diana's grandchildren have made me puppets out of sandwich bags. It's a different. We can't always communicate by text. I
Mm,
think you need to hear one another's voice sometimes. You need to get a handwritten letter because I believe that's your heart actually touching the page.
Wow.
You know, I think that that's very important. Even if it's just a quick note,
Love it.
even if it's you're awesome, you know,
Yeah.
just
And
anything. I think that stuff is
and
really important.
I have, and what you gave me is this beautiful
Oh,
candle. I've always wished for a
yes.
friend like you. And you know what? Like you say with your dandelion, as you blow it out and your wishes go out, I think that your wishes are answered by everyone who surrounds you with incredible love and celebration of what you've accomplished. I do want to ask you one question because I always love manifesting, obviously. So, what is one thing
Oh,
also that you can share that has helped you manifest this part of your life, this challenge, this experience that you are living now?
not giving up. Because I do have like moments where I say that's it, I'm done. But the next morning I'll wake up and say, no, really, you're not. So I go through emotions like everybody else, but it's facing the emotion and saying it's okay you acted like that. It's okay
Mhm.
you had a moment like that. Like I have to forgive myself. Like Carmela forgave me everything,
Mm,
right? So like I think that's very important. But what gets me through to the end of all of this is to never stop going. And I joined a grief writing class
mm,
with Diane Zinna. It's every other Sunday. It's free and it's wonderful. The group is fantastic, and you realize you don't have to go because oh my mom just passed away. It could be anything that you don't
mm.
realize you grieve things that aren't even normal to grieve. Dead to us is over? Like, are you
Yeah.
serious? Like, it could be anything. So
Yeah.
to keep writing, and I do it to you, Meg, I know. I like to read what I write to people.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
So, um, I also do that because I don't know how long I'm gonna have my voice, right? So there's
Mm,
a reason why I do that. But, it's never giving up and believing in yourself and offering yourself forgiveness when you can't get through with the day or through the
mm.
moment or through the block. You know
Love
what
it.
I'm saying?
I absolutely do.
Oh.
And also have wonderful games that you can play with your beautiful book.
I have to tell you, I'm gonna tell you, no, they didn't want nobody wanted that on the book. I mean, 'cause everybody you go through all these different, ideas for the book, but I kept saying, "No, you have to have part of a face on it. I don't care how much, just put
I
part of
love
a
it.
face on it." They're like, "For what?" I'm like, "For a contest, a photo
I love
contest."
it.
Like, I don't know, I wanted where somebody's blowing on a dandelion
Love
wish
it.
in the photo. I don't know, and then maybe they tell us what their wish is.
I love
I
it.
I just I think it's funny.
So
And
tell us
again,
about the contest. Tell us about the
okay,
contest.
so the contest is gonna be that you take a photo of yourself like this with the Annie song. You can do it with your iPad or whatever too, it still works. Um, and then, like, tell us what your wish would be for you or for somebody else. The photo can be how elaborate, whatever you wanna do, but
Mhm.
at the end of the month, I'm gonna pull a number because 'cause I'm not gonna be able to say whose wish is more important than the other, and somebody's gonna win a wish. Nobody can know what it is because it's a wish. You will find out what it is.
I love it. That's so exciting. So when is our date? Oh,
Could be an
yes.
angel. It could be a teacup. There's really cute things. Um, and I that's giving everybody the wishes I think we all should have. Because I think as adults, we stop picking up those dandelions.
Oh, yeah. So tell us the details. So what time period is this
It's
gonna run
already
for?
on because the book came out, so it's on now, until the March 31st
Okay.
at midnight,
Okay.
and you can put this anywhere you want. My page, Annie McDonnell, The Right Review, World of the Right Review, or McCorsky, which is the Instagram page. So you can put it on any of those pages. but you can't hide it in the comments. Like, I mean, you can't hide it in the comments. You can't send it to me on Messenger because I'm trying to show that this is allowed. We can still make wishes as adults
I love it.
beyond our birthday.
I
And
love
there's always something we want. We might not realize it.
it.
And
I love it.
and like manifesting, I'm really big into that. I
Mm.
manifested my husband's. you know, um, I believe you can manifest a lot of things, and I did keep hoping somebody would want to publish my book because they would have to offer some help because I don't have the money to do it, and it's all going to charity.
Yeah, so tell us which
So,
charity is it going to, Annie?
One Love Dog Rescue,
Mhm.
my
Yeah.
favorite dog rescue. Uh, and it's because they rescue from all over the world and they rescue the whole family if they're available. They don't
Mm.
leave someone behind because they're sick.
Love
We
it.
help get them well. We're in the red all the time because of stuff like that. And my hope, I mean, God, if my book could make them out of the red, I would be like that. I'd be the happiest person dancing in. Well, I wouldn't be dancing. I'm gonna be burnt. But anyways,
Where can everyone get your book? So where can they get it?
okay, but wait, it's also the Muse Writing Center in
Okay.
Norfolk, Virginia, who caters to vets, the Pat Conroy Literary Center, because they let me do shows on books write on book reviews, and they've taught me a lot too. And Pat Conroy, I wish I feel like I'm the female version, but I'm not. I just say that. And then also Stiff Person Syndrome Research Foundation. And they're very excited about the book.
So
They're advertising it everywhere.
that's awesome.
We're going to have a show about it. So it's just wonderful. The book can be bought anywhere right now except BookBub. But if you're international by chance, you can get it on
Mhm.
bookdepository.org .com, and it ships for free. So it's around $20. Just it's close to the same price as Amazon, but they'll ship anywhere in the US for you.
Awesome.
You know,
And
so
we have a book launch party coming up as well. When is that? Tell us about it.
ah! So
Ah!
that's April 16th. We moved it so we could go outside
Mm.
at the patio where there's a beautiful waterfall. Uh, Lisa, one of my friend from high school, she's the family. I always call it the family affair, but it's something else. And I'm sorry, I can't remember, but it's on the invitation. But she's an event planner. She's part of two restaurants in the area, and she reached out to me and said, why are you canceling your events? And I said, it's too difficult for me. I can't do the
Yeah.
work that needs to be done. So she
Mhm.
said, Annie, I'm going to do everything.
Love it.
We got this. So the dog rescue and Lisa are doing it. It's going to be a wonderful night. It's at night. There's going to be food from very fancy restaurants, very good food. We have a drink called the Dandelion
I love it.
Wish
I love
Martini,
it. I love
and
it.
it's
I love it.
white, and there's going to be stickers under it, some of them, and you get a prize.
I love it.
But then there's one for the men in case they don't want to carry around a martini glass. It's yellow. It's almost the same thing, but it's called the Dandelion. And I'm going to
Love
let
it.
them have wishes too. But I mean, we're just imagining that maybe men don't want to order martinis. I'm sure not all men, but we said just in case. We don't
I
want to just
love it.
have girly drinks because this book is for everybody.
I
Like
love it.
anyone that's in the hospital, anyone that's in hospice, I think it's good for everybody. And I know I wrote it, and that's really crazy to say about your own book, but yeah, I
So what
volunteered
is
at hospice, and I learned
so
a
what
lot
is
of things.
so what is your wish, Annie, for everyone who gets their hands on your book? What is your wish for them? Like, what is that dandelion wish that you would like for them to blossom into?
Well, I want them to I want people to learn how to love one another better.
Ah, yes. Yes,
I
sister.
mean, amen. Like, because it's
Amen.
people don't do that enough. Or honestly, or right, just love each other right, and the world would be so much better.
So much better.
And but I think it all starts with understanding one another better.
That's beautiful.
And also respecting everybody's needs, because my needs are not going to be somebody else's. Like,
Absolutely.
my love language is, you send me cards or something. Obviously, if I'm telling people to do that, I love that. I'm not saying write them to me. I'm talking write them to your friends, and your family. But I just think there's so many ways to show love to one another, and it doesn't cost money.
Mm-mm.
It's a free gift. And when you have
Yeah.
that, like, that from your mom. I know that from
Yeah.
my stepmom. So it's just hold on to love.
I love that,
Um,
Annie. And, I want to say that, the more people who are out in this world doing that, the better the world will become. So maybe all of you light workers out there who are followers of the beautiful Annie's light, you can inspire others to follow in that particular path as well, giving love and understanding each other first, and then going from there by walking with each other. And I think that's really quite beautiful. So once again, Annie's song, everybody, round of applause. You've got to get a round of
Thank you so
applause.
much. I'm clapping for myself because
I'm
of all the
happy you're
work Echo did. Well, no, Echo, Jan, Brett, my friend Stephanie, like, so many people. Mandy Haynes. I mean, so many people. Connor Garrett, Kevin Garrett, the
accept
Garrett
your
clan.
accept your Academy Award as we sit here,
I know. It's like, I'd
pull it
like to
out.
think. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah. Well, gratitude is a superpower, and certainly you are literally embraced by all of that as well. We're all grateful for you, Annie. We're grateful that you're sharing your song with us in this beautiful book. Once again, I just want to make sure everyone knows where to find you. Annie's song is found on Annie's website. Do you have a website now, or do you have a Facebook page you want to guide them to and
It's
spell it out?
the rightreview.com
Okay.
has it on there.
Okay, I want to make sure
Um,
we spell it because it goes in podcast form. It's WRITEREVIEW, rightreview.com, right?
yes.
Okay. You guys got that. So you know where to go. You know where to find it. Everyone is clapping for you, Annie. This is wonderful. You are
Uh,
wonderful. We all are
thank you.
celebrating you today. Thank you for the beautiful inspirations, the tips. You want to give us something to send us off into this world again? I know we got our inspiration, but when I want goodness, I keep asking for it, which is one of my favorite things to do. Ask, believe, and receive. Annie, and certainly I want to thank Suzanne Simonetti and Leslie Rasmussen
Oh,
for the connection you guys brought
yes.
into my life. I couldn't be more grateful for that. And all of you beautiful people showing up, Nancy, Grace, all of you, Serena, all of these wonderful people here to celebrate you. Deborah Shepard, we have Nancy Johnson, Serena Soap, we have Diana Paul, we have Echo is here. All of these people are here to
It's like
celebrate
all my
you.
best friend,
Oh my God. Meryl Ain was
like
here.
in my best friend tribe.
But you know what? That's what it's about. We
Unbelievable.
all celebrate each other. It's that whole karmic circle of love that you talk about, that you've talked so well about. And with the magical guide to bliss as the backdrop here, I
I love
say
that book.
go out there and set the example for others. Like Annie's, set the example and choose one good thing to do for another today. Send a little act of kindness, a letter of love, whatever it is. Annie, final word. Take it away, my beautiful friend.
Final word is forgiveness.
Oh, wow.
There's not enough forgiveness in this world.
Mm.
And the people that need it are desperate for it
Mm.
most of the time. So I think people need to learn forgiveness, because it's only the opposite of love. So, like, if you love someone for a second and then they did something wrong and they ask for forgiveness, like, how are you not saying okay? Like, it's kind of, forgiveness is very hard. It's just as hard to offer, to say I'm sorry, as it is to say I love you.
Can I ask you one
So
favor?
that's my final. Yes.
I would love for you to read something from your book to share with us today. A little tasty teaser.
Okay. Well, okay. This is my favorite thing to read, like, first. It's called I Am a Writer.
Ah, beautiful.
Let me just find it. I'm sorry.
I put you on the spot, so no worries. Take your time. I want to say once
Okay.
again, everyone, get Annie's Annie's book, Annie's song, and here we go. She's giving us a
I just
little
want to show you QR codes. They have Dandelion. They formatted the book so beautifully. It
amazing.
looks like a scrapbook of a life, you know?
I love it.
Okay. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to read a couple of sentences. Everything I write has a part of my soul in it. My heart demands it. Even in fiction, trace elements of me must remain. My heart to me is to me as my paper is to my pen.
Mm.
And then last, there is huge value in that. The comfort is even larger. I'd love to be remembered or thought of by someone. Every word I write is a giving up of a piece of my heart. The page was just a resting place until someone reads it.
Mm.
Then the reader delivers that piece of my heart right back to me as they lift the words right back off the page.
Oh.
I cry every time I say that. I'm sorry. I don't cry when I'm practicing it, but when I'm live, I cry.
But you know what? It wouldn't be you if you didn't. And if anything we are is authentic, Annie. So thank you, hon.
Thank you very much.
A wonderful experience to be able
Thank
to
everyone for being here.
launch your book with you here on the Conversations with Extraordinary People, Manifesting with Meg. You are an amazing manifestation of love in this world. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, everybody. I want to remind you to go out in the world and remember to be deliberate creators of your life. Dream big, get inspired, read these books that are going to come alive once you get your hands on them, and get ready to manifest the life of your dreams. Wishing you all bliss. Thank you all for being here. You are all beautiful, wonderful. Thank you. We'll definitely bring you all with her as she starts this beautiful journey. So God bless you all. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you, Annie. Big kiss.
Thank you, Meg. This is such an honor. And thank you for saying yes.
Oh, you're the best. I love you. Anytime. All
I
right.
love you too.
Love you too.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.